as of 31st December 2019, and the group's total investment in creditors Nairobi was standing at 438 million as of 31st December 2019. We reported the number of loans issued in 2019 amounted to 156 million, where urgent loans were taken with it. More members were encouraged to take up more loans. Applications for less than 70,000, and told members they can deposit as many times as possible in the course of 1 month. She gave out the number of members who had gone through the loan as 12, and a total of 735,000 was given from our welfare fund to assist funeral arrangements. She reported that the management had carried out extensive marketing activity within their stations, where they managed to bring a total of 803 members to the group. She encouraged members to enroll on our holiday saving plan, where 1 cent from January to December without pay, and at the end of the year, they get their money with an interest of 4% on top of the contributions they have made. She reported the management had 15 meetings in the year under review, and education day for members that was held in October, and a capacity building for management in Nairobi. She reported that there were no elections as it is during the normal ATMs, This was because of the growth of the group, where we had attained a $500 million mark. And as per the guidelines, the group is to transit to the board of management. She reported that Caritas Nairobi were the coordinators of separate group and provision of guaranteed loans had been reduced from 12%. Plus guarantorship, so members can get guarantors. We also read out some of the achievements and resolutions. Total share capital growth by 13.4%. Partnership with the bank for purposes of purchasing land. Formation of guarantorship cells. Awards the best between agency banking, the best group in share capital in system. It was also agreed and passed that the fund treat it as income. This was to take place next financial year 2020. She closed her speech by thanking the patron, the managers, staff representatives from Caritas Nairobi, our esteemed members, the contribution to the program. It was proposed by members Francis Bugi and seconded by Boniface Ikara. Minute 3, supervisory report. The supervisory chair lady read out her report and the observations made throughout the investigation. Noted that we had managed to invest in Caritas Nairobi, which has enabled us to improve on our unit. She, however, noted that analysis of the done on time hindered the management from proper decision making and investment planning. Withdrawals. They noted that in the previous year, a considerable number of members had left the group. They noted that it was taken up. The other members to within a month instead of months. They noted that the loan Number 2, on withdrawal They are working on ways of ensuring guarantorship, such as one to ensure members have options of guarantorship. On loans, they encourage members to take up more loans and advise all those members who are the challenge in repaying their loans. They should visit the office and inform the group on their challenges so as to get a solution for them in terms of repayment. The report was proposed by Richard Umoja, member number 15, 190, and seconded by member number 15, 1093, Mary Wanjiru. Minute 4. Auditors report. The auditors from Caritas presented the auditors report. They read out the report, their findings for the year ending at 1st December 2020. Seconded by Sophia member number 15. Minute 5. Treasurer's report. The treasurer presented the financial position of the group and the budget for the year 2020. He took members through the budget and gave out the percentage of what you are paying surplus. It was proposed by member number 0901, 09001, and seconded by member number 1511. Wow. Minute 6. Caritas Nairobi, John Mabon. The branch manager, John Mabon, gave out his speech. He pointed out that Umoja was doing well in terms of investment in the bank. He also told members that if they were interested in buying land, that in partnership, they could assist members get a loan guarantee for shares to purchase the land. Caritas Nairobi speech. It was given by Eric Shobi, Empowerment Coordinator. The coordinator gave out his speech to the members. He gave out the history of how the groups were started by the late Cardinal Maurice Michael. He thanked members for being persistent in their savings despite the hard economic times they were facing. He urged members to take more loans if there were any problems in taking up loans. They present that information to them for purposes of ensuring that things were well in line for the members. We also talked about the transition that is about to happen. We pointed out that any group that has shares 500 million, the group will transition from a board of management. We also pointed out that any group that has shares above 500 million, the groups will transit to a board of management that will ensure the groups are run professionally. He pointed out that Umoja, being there, is in the process of transition to the board of management, and that he will guide on how the process will take place and encourage members to apply once the announcement is done. Minute 7. Any other business? The management team. There being no other business, annual general meeting ended at 1:30 p.m. Blessings from Father Bernard, Bishop, our partner. There being no other business, AGM ended at 14:30 p.m. Now, as this position, we have a proposer and a seconder to the meetings. Any proposer and a seconder, you can raise your hand, state your name and membership. In the chat.
Morning. Okay, my name is Sebastian. I'll request the host to mute everyone because there's a lot of background noise.
Yeah.
Please mute everyone. There's a lot of background noise.
You got a feedback for our proposal? It has been proposed by John Mudui, member number 05156. Seconder, seconded by Ruth Wamari, member number 12046. We go to our second agenda, and we'll invite the chair lady to give us the chairperson's report.
Good morning, members. When I welcome you, those who do not have this, they can concentrate on listening instead of shutting on the phone. This is our 24th annual general meeting.
Guys, those on the meeting look for somewhere
For
quiet.
the year 2020. And today we are holding this meeting. And it's unfortunate that it has to be virtual, but we still thank God that we are still here to hold this meeting. And our members who can listen to us could be by show of hand they can raise, and we know that they are part of this meeting. I will read my reports. The patron, representative from Caritas, the management committee of Umoja Catholic Church Southern Group. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. On behalf of the management, I take this opportunity to welcome you all at our 24th annual general meeting. I thank God for getting us together again, and another year safe and sound. I cannot take it for granted. It is with great pleasure that we have convened virtually to review events of the last 12 months. Kindly allow me to introduce my team and of the management committee. Okay, it's just the staff, but we have one of our members present. And ma'am, what's your name?
Ya, ukitaka uonekane unatumia that video.
So Eric Ishopi is our coordinator, he's present. Dennis Mutuko, he is our vice chair. We have the chairperson's publicity, Catherine Kate Budia. We have CPA Mudoi at the far end. CPA Mudoi is in credit. We have Anthony Gerald right in front of me. We have Mike Kibai, who is coding the IT, coordinating the IT. We have Mike Dewa. Mike Dewa is all over, trying to see that things are done. We have Esther Kamau. We have Ruth Wamari. Next to me, the one of our staff is Edward Minor. Behind Edward Minor, we have Margaret Wageshi, we have Jacinta Mudoni, we have Jeffrey, we have George, we have James, and then we have our own member, one of our members, who came, and he's Wairimu. As a novelist, we have our patron and our shepherd. The year 2020 started like any other year, slow in business, but then turned almost disastrous with the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic in the month of March. To prevent the spread of the virus, we followed the Ministry of Health guidelines, which prompted us to take the required measures. We communicated to members the need to comply with the MOH guidelines that the government was putting in place, considering that the outbreak was having a severe health impact, not only to us, but on the whole world and its economy. The group has experienced interactions in the year 2020. Withdrawals of chairs, gross significantly, and cash organizations were at the press as members started as compared to other years. It was a hard economic time and the country at large experienced. We saw school being closed, shut down, retrenchments, and business going down. All this occasioned by the pandemic. The group initiated measures to reduce the financial strain for our members. Among them were partial withdrawals, restructuring of loans, and some few loans were offset against the chairs. Despite all that, the group has grown in capital at a 10.42% income increase. Income increase marginally 10.84%. And I want to thank the old and the new staff and the management for the commitment they displayed. The group overcame all these setbacks and registered a share capital of 572 million at the end of last year, December 2020, compared to 518 million at 31st December 2018. The group's total income through investment through Caritas Nairobi was Kenya shillings 4.7 million as at members have requested to monitor payments for loans they have guaranteed to avoid depleting their shares. The group did well marketing during the year 2020 because of the pandemic. However, we have enjoyed growth in the terms of membership as we managed to register 643 new members to reach the target active members of 5,198. We appeal to the dormant members to activate their accounts and grow together economically. During the year under review, 22 members went to the Lord. Our welfare kit or FAD assisted in the feeding arrangements with cash amounting to 1.4 or 1,430,000. May their soul rest in eternal peace. For the last 6 years, members have greatly enjoyed the product called holiday savings. Most members have through this product to make use of their money, not only for holidays, but also for other important aims. Our minimum contribution is still at 400 shillings, and the interest is at 4%. We revised our strategy to make this business more resilient and responsive to external shocks. We are still revisiting our strategic plan, and once it's through, we will be able to we continue aligning our business offer members efficient financial solutions, enhancing confidentiality of members when interacting with other officers when they visit the group's office. The group have 6 permanent employees. The management addresses performance competencies to maintain a quality workforce and try to match the great demands of the group and its members. We have a chief accountant, an assistant accountant, an accounts clerk, a credit officer, and a customer care officer. Being in the digital world, we urge members to use our M-Pesa bill as much as possible. This is because it's very convenient, especially during these times of COVID-19. Our number still remains 52752, and your membership is your account number. Because of this, we request our members to deposit their savings every single day during the month. No penalties whatsoever will be put to you for not depositing before 10 of the month, as was the condition there before. This was a condition that had been was put a long time ago for members to members, but we have scrapped all. We have scrapped all penalties. There are no penalties at all. So members can deposit every single day. You can deposit as many times as you want in a day, and you're not going to experience any penalty, even if you deposit after 10. The management held 14 member meetings in the year 2020. In the year 2020, no training was done, as I said, was no gathering at all was allowed. We did what we could to make sure that all members are announce this in our local churches and through text to members for the purpose of getting interested members who are willing to manage our group. I applaud the Caritas Nairobi coordinating office for their good leadership. We are where we are because you have done everything in your power to see that we are up and running despite the current situation. Thank you most sincerely for your guidance on matters pertaining to the group and its welfare, which is communicated to our members through text or when one visits the office. The management team, thank you very, very much for your oversight and doggedness in sustainability, steering the group forward. Your contribution and dedication as we propel this group to higher heights cannot go unnoticed. You are people of integrity. God bless you. To our staff, you are shining examples that together we can overcome any adversity. We count on you to continue delivering strong performances for members. I pray that the group continue to enjoy the teamwork spirit. To the supervisory group, your work has been recommended not only by the management of Umoja, but also by the coordinating office Caritas. Keep it there. To our patron for the band. For the band, he is our patron. He's a strong pillar and a true shepherd. On behalf of the management, I sincerely thank him for his patronage and always being there for the group. To our members, you are our business, and without you, there is no Umoja self-help group. I thank you all for trusting us to take this group to the next level. Your support, which you have extended to us in running the business, and especially during these very testing circumstances, is highly appreciated. Let us hold each other's hands and work together. Bring in as many members as possible. This way, you also make it easier for yourself when you want a guaranteed loan. May the Almighty God bless each one of us and continue to bind us together with his love. God bless you all. Let us take care of ourselves and each other. Our slogan still remains: save regularly, born wisely, and pray and pay promptly. Thank you so much. God bless you all.
Let's give us a loud clap. Thank you for your speech. And we pray that also mighty God continue to bless you in such. And we get a proposer and the seconder to take his reports. You can do that for this group. Thank you. So we go to our next report, and we welcome the supervisory chairperson to come and read for us 2020 supervision report. Welcome.
God is good, and all the time. I want to thank Almighty God for this day, for His graces and for His mercy. Last year we went through a very difficult year, not for us and our members, but because of COVID, all of us were affected globally. But amidst all that, we managed to sail through. The year was a bit slow. Most of our members were affected. They were not able to contribute as usual. But we found God was nothing stalled. And our group is still going on. To our reports. Supervisory committee report to the AGM for the year 2020. Our patron, Reverend Father Bernard Gichu, Caritas representative, invited guests, management committee, staff, and our esteemed members. Good morning. We have carried out the audit of the records and books of accounts of our self-help group as mandated by the guidelines, which we have discussed with the management committee during our joint quarterly meetings over the year. The following are some of the areas under review. Loans. Loans in the year 2020 were issued to a tune of 189 million, which were well appraised, approved, and discussed with the applicants on time and as per procedure. We noted with a lot of concern that during COVID, most of our members were affected by the pandemic, since most of them lost their jobs and businesses were closed. Sorry to all who were affected directly or indirectly. This led most of them, but the management introduced partial withdrawal, where instead of the member totally leaving the group, a member would be allowed to withdraw part of his or her savings. This was to safeguard our members and prevent them from leaving the group. This worked well for our group and members were sustained. Kudos to all. Another issue was that some members took loans and were unable to repay them on time, hence falling into default. This made some guarantors suffer through deductions made from their shares to pay for the loanees' loan. We also noted that during loan application process, some few forms lacked signatures for the applicants, and this meant that the contract was not binding. This was brought to the attention of the management and much has improved. On records. Filing of records has been well maintained and it has enhanced quick watching of records. However, there is an issue with members' biodata in our system, since most of the data is missing. This includes, but not limited to, the following. Telephone numbers. Most of the telephone numbers were missing, and in case a member made changes to their telephone numbers, we kindly request our members to update the telephone numbers with us in the office or through mail. Next of kin, which is very important in case of death of a member, in case it happens. This is very important in our system for identification purpose, since it will guide the managers to know who is entitled to receive the benevolence and maybe the deceased shares. Lack of ID numbers. We urge our members to assist the management get their biodata by coming to the office to confirm the details, whether they are correct, or through mail, and somehow will respond and give feedback on the same. On microfinance plan. In the year 2020, there were some features that occurred in our microfinance bank, but were resolved by the management, and operations have gone back to normalcy. Vouchers. During our review, payment vouchers were botched, and we noted that all vouchers were well filed though we realized that in some cases, some payment vouchers lacked supportive documents, and yet in one other scenario, single sourcing was done. This was contrary to our finance and procurement policy. We raised this in one of our reports, and the management has improved on narration of payments going forward. Bank reconciliation. This was never done on a monthly basis, meaning there has been a backlog. Management has come up with a way of ensuring that bank statements and M-Pesa statements are reconciled on a daily basis. Our recommendations. Loan forms should be duly filled by the member and signatures appended to avoid the member being denied to get the loan. On maintaining proper records, members should endeavor to give their details physically, in office or through mail to assist in proper identification. Members applying for loans should try and pay their loans on time to be able to release their guarantors of held shares and avoid putting the guarantors at risk of losing their money in case the member defaults. Strong internal controls in our microfinance bank will protect our funds and avoid fraudulent activities. I would like to thank all our stakeholders for believing in us, especially our members, and for the support accorded to the management committee for the years served. God bless you.
Thank you, Madam Catherine, for your report. We got a proposal to the supervisory reports from the floor. Proposal, Jane Gadimba, number 1823, seconded by Esther Kamau, number. Thank you so much. As we continue with our virtual AGM, I hope our members, you don't have any challenges. The next item is the auditor's report. It needs we're going to get our auditor's reports. Our reports. We are going to get it from our treasurer who is reading on behalf of the Caritas team, because we know of the issue of COVID-19. We have to maintain less people in general. So on the treasurer.
Thank you, members, for joining. I'll now take you through the financial statements for the year 2020. These reports will also be shared with you in soft. On the chat box, just put your email address. We'll have somebody send you in soft. So I'll start with the statement of comprehensive income for the year 2020. Income. We had three streams of income. Interest on loans, we managed to get 18,375,774, which is an increase from last year. Interest on investments also grew to 43,579,464. Other incomes reduced to 1,890,520. The reduction of other incomes was because of the group waiving some of the charges that we usually charge our members to enable them during this COVID-19 period. So total income was 63,845,000 758. To break down on other incomes, I'll go then to expenditure. The expenditure for the year 2020 was as follows. Committee seating allowance was 986,000. Operating expenses was 2,280,093 shillings. Professional fees was 353,240. We engaged the services of the coordinating office to give us some professional assistance, and that's why the charge of 353,240. Annual member admin fees, was 459,700. Losses written off was 16,920. Members' expenses, which include AGM, was 1,977,751, and staff cost was 2,597,776. Total expenditure for the year was 8,661,480. Total surplus for the year was 55,184,278. We do some appropriation to the surplus before distribution to ensure that we continue to operate on a safe environment and the group is stable. We do allocate 20% of the surplus to our reserve, which was 11,036,856. Tithe, we are guided by the laws of the Catholic Church, and the was as follows. We do 5% to the local churches, 2,207,371. 5% to Caritas. This goes to the Archdiocese of Nairobi. It's 2,207,371. Proposed honoraria for the year is 2,207,300. Total distributable surplus for the year is 38,005,142. That is for the income statement. We now go to the statement of financial position. For the year 2020, our non-current assets are as follows. Property and equipment, 1,614,708. We have shares in the microfinance bank, Caritas Microfinance Bank, which is 20 million. Our current assets, total outstanding loans is 197,864,967. Our investment through Caritas Nairobi is 474,910,678. This is investment we usually put in terms of treasury bills, treasury bonds, and money market funds. Our debtors and prepayments is 14,016,983. Bank and cash balances 14,558,818. Our total assets for the year 2020 increased to 691 million. The total assets for the year is 712. Distributable surplus 38,005,142. Short-term savings 1,125,714. Our total funds and liabilities stands at 712,996,154. That is our statement of financial position. I will now go through the statement of changes in the funds balances. Our members' contribution for the year 2020 increased by 54,686,780. Despite the pandemic, we were able to have this increment. Our benevolent fund for the year increased by 807,585. Our computer software amortization, our evaluation was a negative 50,000. Our prior year adjustment, 1,892,269. And our reserve fund increases to 11,036,856. That is our changes in our fund balances. I will go now to statement of cash flow, cash flows. Cash flow from operating activities. Surplus for the year 2020. Surplus for the year 2020 was 55,664,040. Prior year adjustment, 1,892,269. Amortization through revaluation reserves, 50,000. Depreciation and amortization, 300,211. Changes in working capital. Our debtors and prepayments, 1,311,413. Debt creditors and accruals, 6,418,866. Retirement token paid, 225,000. Tithe paid, 4,773,276. Proposed honoraria, 2,018,189. Surplus paid was 34,255,537. Short-term savings, 1,089,080 shillings. Cash flow from investment activities. Outstanding loans, 25,987,748. Investment through Caritas Nairobi, 36,841. Purchase of non-current assets, 266,500. Cash flow from financing activities. Members' savings, 54,696,780. Benevolent fund, 887,585. And revaluation reserve, 50,000. So that is in summary our statement of cash flow position. I'll now do a summary of the notes. I will go to note number 2. Member savings as per our financial statement, 572,307,208. Active loans, 187,864, 107,864,967. Short-term savings, 1,125,714. Other incomes apart from loans and investment in Caritas, we got income from registration fees, 182,650. Fines and penalties, 312,907. Cheleni had mentioned in her report. For the year 2020, we scrapped all the penalties. And that's why there's a reduction in that fines and penalties charges. Our M-Pesa charges, 371,482. Sale of literature, this is to our members when they join the group. 317,000. Commission from operating the Caritas microfinance is 158,456, with withdrawal charges for members withdrawing from the group 118,370. Total, that was 1,890,520. Our operating expenses, we have committee expenses. We did not incur any in the year 2020. Committee duty allowance for the meetings, for the 15 meetings we held for the year 2020 was 350,000. Transport expenses, 16,880. Computer maintenance, 800. Bank charges and commissions, 267,154. Postage, internet, telephone, and email, 363,696. Printing and stationery, 278,148. Repairs and maintenance, 75,613. Office expenses, 139,145. Agency insurance premium, 22,089 shillings. Zonal expenses, 6,000. Audit expenses, 130,000. System maintenance, 70,000. Depreciation and amortization, 300,211. Note number 5, professional fees. Accountancy fee, 203,240. Forensic audit, 150,000. This is the cost we incurred from engaging services from Caritas Nairobi. Members' expenses, we did not have a lagoon because of the pandemic for the year 2020. AGM expenses for the year 2020 was 947,951. Education and training, 29,800. Corporate social responsibility, 1 million. This is us giving back to the community. Staff cost, note number 7. Salaries and wages, 2,372,554. NSSF, 14,400. Staff medical expenses, 158,822. Staff Christmas token, 42,000. Debtors and prepayments, note number 8. Accrued interest on investments, 30,491,750. Accrued agency income, 17,104. Sundry data, 448,129. Prepaid seminar and workshop, 60,000. Bank and cash balances. Cooperative bank accounts, 6,253,236. Caritas Baraka current account, 408,336. Caritas current account, 7,341,555. Caritas agency commission accounts, 64,228. Caritas microfinance float account, 551,871. M-Pesa pay bill, a negative of 130,676. Lipa na M-Pesa 3,724. I will now give it to the auditors to take us through the auditors' comments, and then we'll proceed with the budget afterwards.
So, good morning, members. Good morning, members. So, my name is James Karanja. Caritas Nairobi auditor, and I'll be reading the report on behalf of the trust. So the report of the Diocese of Nairobi Social Promotion Registered Trustees, the members of Assumption of Mary Catholic Church, Umoja. Our scope. We conducted audit assignments. The time period covered by the audit is from 1st January 2020 to 31st December 2020. Audit procedures performed are designed to evaluate the adequacy, efficiency, effectiveness, and compliance of the group's governance principles, risk management, and control processes. We examined all records of the central group, including accompanying report, as set out on page 6 to 12. It comprises of the statement of comprehensive income, financial position, statement of fund, and a summary of significant accounting policies and other explanatory notes. Respective responsibility of management committee and regulator. As described, the management committee is responsible for the governance and preparation of all records. Our responsibility is to examine the records to check whether they conform to the advices of a Nairobi Social Promotion Registered Trustee self-help guidelines. Results. From our examination, all records conform to the advices of Nairobi. Results. From our examination, all records conform to the advices of Nairobi Social Promotion Registered Trustee guideline as of 31st December 2020. For and on behalf of advices of Nairobi Social Promotion Registered Trustee technical team. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That is the report from our auditors. That's the report from our auditors. I would like a proposer to the auditors' report from our members.
I propose member number 14125, Sebastian.
Catherine Butia. Madam?
Michael Kibai.
Seconded by Michael Kibai. So we're going to get our budget for the year 2021, which will be presented by our treasurer, Mr. Michael Leber. Dr. Michael.
I will take you through the proposed budget for the year 2021. I will start with the income. For the year 2021, we have budgeted interest from loans 20,500,000. Agency income 200,000. Fines and penalties 300,000. But it's our wish for the year 2020 that we don't have any fines and penalties to our members. Sale of literatures 400,000. Interest on investment at Caritas, 48 million. Share withdrawal fee, 150,000. But we hope to our members that you do not withdraw from the group. In case of anything, get in touch with the management and we'll be able to provide various solutions. Registration fees, 400,000. We also do ask our members to bring other members on board. As Chair Lady had said, the more members we have, the more members we have to guarantee each other. M-Pesa service charge, 400,000. Other income, 25,000. Total income, total budgeted income for the year 2021, 70,375,375,000. Expenditure for the year 2021, we are budgeting to have sitting allowance, committee sitting allowance, 1.3 million. Committee retainer, 1.2 million. The two, as Chair Lady had said in her report, we are transitioning to a BOM, and then hence the changes in the sitting allowance and retainer. Office expenses, 200,000. Audit expenses, 60,000. Depreciation, 300,000. Bank and M-Pesa charges, 400,000. Printing and stationery, 300,000. Salaries and wages, 3.5 million. As per the Chair Lady's report for the year 2021, we have aligned our operations to be more professional, and on board we brought new staff, and that's why there's an increase in the salaries and wages for the year 2021. Staff medical expenses, 350,000. Our staff for the group through Caritas, we are making sure they are comfortable and safe, and that's the medical expense we are budgeted for. Staff cost, NSSF, 60,000. Alagum offertory, 6,000. AGM expenses for the year 2021, 250,000. Transport expenses, 20,000. Computer maintenance, 20,000. Postage, telephone, internet and email, 370,000. Agency insurance premium, 22,099 shillings. System maintenance, 70,000. Capacity building, education and training. This is for both the staff and for the management, 450,000. Team building and benchmarking, 300,000. Zonal kitty expenses, 6,000. Annual members admin fees, 600,000. Utilities, 50,000. We do not expect to cut any accountancy fees or forensic fees for the year 2021. Staff training, 120,000. Corporate social responsibility, 1 million. And marketing and promotion materials, 200,000. Total expenses budgeted for the year 2021, 11,160,099 shillings. For contingencies, 1,116,000, which is usually 10% of the total budgeted expenses. For the year 2021, we were budgeting to capital expenditure under two items. Office renovation, 400,000. Strategic plan. We need to align our strategic plan to the Caritas strategic plan together with the agencies, and we are budgeted for 600,000. That, members, is our proposed budget for the year 2021. And as I earlier said, the report will be shared to you via email. You can share your email address on the chat box. Then the same will be sent to you. Thank you.
Thank you, our treasurer, for your report. We'd like to get a proposal, and if possible, from our members virtually. Give us a proposal by sending us your name and membership number to propose the budget for the year 2021. Technical team will be advisors if there are any people raising their hands.
So many raising hands.
Yeah, just choose one to give us a membership. And as we continue, I'd like to remind you that we have waived all penalties for this year in terms of deposits. So as you deposit, even if it is after the 10th, just remember that there are no penalties that are going to be charged. You'll save as you get your money. Proposal.
I propose.
Proposed by member. Proposed by member 1579. Timothy Gathon. Seconded by Scholastica Blari. Membership number 04040. Thank you, our virtual members, for your participation. I don't know if you have a zonal speech. So we have a session. Some of our members have raised questions. We'll have a session in the chat box to answer them. We're going to have a report or a speech from our zonal representative, from our Caritas coordinating office, Eric Ishovi. And on what I'd like to invite him.
God is good. All the time. We are not used to very few members. There's something missing. I want to thank you for being patient and for the listening, and our members who are at home for their patience too. And I take this opportunity to invite our coordinator, Mr. Eric Ishovi, from ST, because of his leadership. Eric, please.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Madam Chair Lady, for the warm invitation. I want first of all to appreciate and recognize our patron who really has been of help to us. I also want to appreciate the members present here, both the members of management, members of staff, my colleagues from Caritas, and also we had one senior member here. I also want to appreciate her for that effort of joining us in this virtual meeting. Allow me also to appreciate the virtual membership who are here today with us. We have quite a number, and we are very encouraged by that particular cooperation that you've continued to show to us as members of management, as the group, and also as Caritas. This gives us more hope that even if there are challenges, we are still able to remain resilient and continue working within the new normal. So from Caritas Nairobi, we want first of all to thank God for this fight he has taken us. We want to thank him for giving us good health. I know we've been mentioned or it has been reported to us that a number of our members went to be with the Lord. So we thank God for their souls, for the gifts of those members who have been with us. And we also thank God for us all who are still trying to work and to ensure that our life continues, even amidst the challenges that we are going through. So thank you also to our members, all of them, both here and virtual, for being here with us, for being resilient, for always supporting the efforts that the management continues to put in place, especially during this time when things are not as we expected them to be. I also take this opportunity on behalf of Caritas to convey our gratitude to our priest. It is because of his leadership that this group is celebrating this mileage today, giving us praise, hosting us, continuing to pray for us, continuing to give us spiritual and also leadership advice and guidance that has made us, together with the management and our members of staff, to get to where we are. I would also want to thank those who have organized this event. I know it has been a challenge. We have been discussing and asking ourselves whether it is possible. So having it this way today and with the success we are seeing, we really appreciate everybody for this. Allow me to say that we are working in times when it is not normal, as we've always been told. We are working in an anticipated time when we didn't know that such kind of times would come our way. But again, we are happy that we continue to adjust our lives to ensure that we keep in touch with our members, we keep in touch with the office, and we keep in touch with our financials and resources that we continue to entrust the group with. Our assurance is, despite the challenges we are going through, as the group, as Caritas Nairobi, will continue working together with the leadership of the group to make it easy for you to interact with us, to make it easy for you to get the products that you need from the group, and also to ensure the seamless working relationship between us and you as our members. So we are working around the clock together with the administration of the church, together with the management, to ensure that we bring in solutions that will always give us that kind of smooth working and smooth services to you as our members. We appreciate the growth that has been reported here today. We were a bit afraid when the COVID-19 was announced in this country in March, and we thought things would be very bad. But we also want to appreciate everyone for adjusting with the situation. We've seen a growth in our savings with more than 50 million. We've seen a growth in our own book. We've seen a growth in assets. And that tells us that we are working with membership that is very resilient, that is able to adjust with the things and challenges that come our way. So for us as the group is to assure you our continued support to you, is to assure you that we always listen and hear what you want us to do for you, and ensure that we do that which will help you, that which will benefit you, because when you benefit, we also understand that we also benefit as a group and also as the church in general. We urge you to continue observing the protocols given. We urge you to continue with your transactions and also continue obeying the guidance that is given by the group from time to time, and also the guidance that were given by our government that will help us to continue protecting ourselves and to continue doing things that will make sure that our health, our safety is always assured. We don't want to lose any of our members because of the COVID, so we ask you really to continue observing all the measures and adjustments that are put in place. Allow me to mention a few of our milestones that we have been able to make to help us to adjust with the times that we are in. One of them is the system upgrade that we've done. As Caritas Nairobi, we tried to ensure that we've observed the challenges that we are going through. We've learned from them, and on the day of Good Friday, we were able to upgrade our system and migrate to a new system. That is, we are working towards making our interaction with our members very easy and very smooth. So going forward, because the first phase that we had was to migrate our data to that new system. And now going forward, what we are doing is integration with various service providers so that we ensure that you are able to do your transactions direct with the group from the comfort of your seat. From the comfort of your seat. We appreciate that the movement is limited, gatherings are limited, and that's why also we have this kind of a meeting. So what we are doing is to provide solutions that will help you as our member to continue interacting with the management, continue interacting with your savings, with your own, and with your business that you're doing in the group in a way that that same minimization of interaction or physical interaction is observed. So we are going forward looking at a way where we are able to observe how our accounts are behaving. We are able to do onboarding through virtual kind of a way. We are able to save and also to pay our loans without really necessarily bringing that slip to the office for update. So as soon as we are able to do that, a communication will be sent to you because we want to ensure that our services to you as our member continue to give that comfort that you have been looking for. So apart from that, we are continuing to invite you to give us also feedback in terms of the services and the products that you want us to give you. Why? Because the new normal requires to do our businesses in a new way. So we expect that you will continue also communicating with us, helping us understand what is it that you need us to do for you, so that your business can also be able to adjust, so that what you're doing, even if you want to venture to new areas of doing businesses, because we know that the disruptions that we are looking at today has also affected most of our businesses, and some of us maybe are thinking of adjusting to once maybe other ventures. So we really ask you to continue communicating with us through the means that are available, and we promise that we will continue adjusting even our products once meeting that particular adjustments that you are looking at or that you are going to. Finally, allow me to mention that the starters of this program, or the pioneers of this program, had a very clear vision, and the vision was designed in such a way that it will still stand the challenges of time. So what we are asking you is to continue helping us to keep that particular vision alive, to continue working with the management and supporting them to help in making sure that what they are doing for you is something that is adding value to your life, is something that is making you to stand out in the community and be counted, is something that is also giving back to the efforts that each and every one of us is doing. From Caritas Nairobi, we'll continue praying for you, we'll continue working with you, supporting you together with the management towards the achievement of our objectives. So thank you so much, and we really ask that God may continue blessing you and keeping you safe. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We appreciate your help. We appreciate your support. We appreciate your timely efforts. We'd like to also welcome back the lady to invite our patron, so that you can also share with us his experience, self-help group, and the way the patron has found it. Welcome, Shalini.
Can I say hello to you? I think we can pause the video some place like that. There's a lot of noise coming from somebody. But anyway, that aside, yeah, surely we should be set somewhere here. Okay, that aside, we want to welcome our patron, who is our shepherd, our parish priest, and every good gentleman. He has guided us, he has shown us the way, we have called him, and he has answered us. So we call him today, this gathering this one.
Once again, members of Crucifix of Christ. Well, I don't have much to say for today, except to say some few points here and there. And one of them, as you heard from our speakers this morning, that in Umoja, Catholic Circle, we are on another level. And that is why we have all the reasons to say thank you to God, because of the far He has taken us. And again, just as a reminder that we cannot manage our affairs unless we save. Because if we again eat everything, then there is a disaster tomorrow. How will you handle that disaster? That is why in one of our principles, we have to save regularly and borrow wisely, and always don't forget that you have that debt, pay promptly, because you have borrowed and maybe somebody has guaranteed you something. That it is always good to honor that promise for the sake of peace, for the sake of friendship, and even for the sake of prosperity of our circle here. Therefore, I wish you the best as we look forward to having another meeting that is next year. At least our accounts will be better than what we performed last year. God is good and all the time. May God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Father Ben. I'd like to welcome one of our committee members for credits, Esther Kamau. No, sorry, our treasurer. There are some questions that have been asked, and I would like to welcome our treasurer to answer. So, Michael Degwa, welcome.
There are some questions that have been put in the chat box. I will try and answer some. Number one, when is the distributable surplus to be paid? We are going to pay it before the 30th of April 2021. We are just finalizing on the processes of the bank, and we're going to pay as soon as possible. What rate are we distributing the surplus? We'll be distributing it at 7%. And the criteria is for the year 2020, you should not be dormant, and you should not be a defaulter for the year 2020. That is a simple criteria we are following. Then there's a question on staff costs. As per the financials, we've spread the budget for the year 2021. The total salaries for the year 2020 was 2,372,000, but for the year 2021, it's going to 3.5. As per the chair lady's report, we had announced that we have done some changes, some restructuring in the staff. We have now a senior accountant, a chief accountant. We have an accountant, we have an account assistant, a credit officer, customer service officer, and accounts clerk. This restructuring is what has led to us budgeting for the 3.5. It is for the good of the group. We are now at $500 million, and that's the reason why we did the changes in terms of the staff structuring. The other question was on the difference between staff cost, staff training, and the team building and benchmark and capacity building and education. To make sure that our staff deliver correctly to our members, through the partnership, through Caritas Coordinating Office, they do training for them on a yearly basis. This is strictly for the staff, and they're able to be taken through various changes. And as our coordinator said, there's some changes they have done in the system to make sure it offer better services. So to make sure our staff are aligned to using the system very well, these are some of the training they're taken to, and to make sure the group is safe. That is for the staff training. For capacity building and education and training, this goes to other policies that is goes to the managers. We also do need to educate our members on various operations and policies for the group. So this is the budget we're doing for the 450,000. I can check. We are checking for more questions on the chat box. Should you have any query, please put on the chat box and we'll be able to. Somebody is asking how long does it take from joining to receiving the first dividend? For the year 2020, if you're a new member, you should have stayed for a continuous of 6 months, 6 consecutive months for you to qualify to get surplus. So how do you calculate your dividends? We do calculate your surplus. For us, we do not refer to them as dividends. It's for the surplus for the year 2020. We take your savings as at 31st December 2020, and then multiply by the rate of distributable surplus, which is 7%, and we get the distributable. As I said, we are planning to pay the same before 30th April 2020. We are just finalizing on the bank with the processes for paying the same.
There is a question on one of the members has asked whether their savings were offset or the loan, and the answer is yes, it was offset. Then some members asking if they are going to be refunded their funds. That is a very good answer. It's a very good question, and allow me to say that the plan for that had not been made. But again, even if it was made, it would have reduced the rate of surplus that you're going to get. So I think from the management perspective, when you get your surplus, part of that can be used to purchase the balance. And I think that will be taken care of. Thank you.
Thank you so much. There was also a question on updating of books. Updating of books. I think with the current situation, we are discouraging members to come to the office because of the pandemic. But anytime you want to know about your account statement, please come send an email to the staff, to the office, Umoja cchg@gmail.com, and request your statement. And you will be sent via your email, so that if there are any discrepancies, then you can forward your claims to the office and they will be updated accordingly. There's another question to be asked. So we are moving to the next agenda. The next agenda is elections, and I would welcome the coordinator, Eric, to come and spearhead the process.
Thank you very much, Bwana MC, for this opportunity once again. Yeah, this agenda we are supposed to be doing elections. Like we announced in the year 2020 AGM for the financial year 2019, the group, according to our governance structure, where a group gets to the savings or the share capital of 500 million or $500 million, we change the governance structure whereby the management committee, who have been working and making the group get right, is their titles and their way of operation stages. So we move from a management committee to a board of management. I remember during the last year AGM, I explained the process of becoming a board member. I explained also the process of transition, whereby we start by looking at who is in the management currently. Then once we look at that, then we look at the gaps that we may be having in terms of the skills balance. Why? Because when you talk of moving from the management committee to a board of governance, and again, when you look at the size of the group, 500 million and above, and I'm sure even the membership, they also go hand in hand with the savings size, then we require that we change the way we govern. We require to change the way we operate, and we also require to change everything that has to do with the risk management framework, because the kind of resources now that we are managing are quite huge, and in case of anything, then that can really affect us in a very big way, can affect members in a very big way, and can also affect the church in a very big way. So it was found necessary that when we get to that level, then we change everything that we do. A question has been raised on why do we require a degree for the board members. Allow me to say that when we get to that particular level, then even the operations changes. The treasurer and the chair lady has given us an update on a number of staff who have been engaged, and we will continue also looking at the gaps that we may have on human capital and continue bringing in professionals that can continue addressing those gaps. So what we are saying is the members of staff continue professionally doing the operational work of the group, the day-to-day running of the group. Then the board concentrates, instead of you coming and finding a credit person or a credit member of a committee approving or processing your own, then that particular work is professionally transparent to the members of staff. So the board members will now concentrate on policy framework, will concentrate on giving guidance on risk management framework, will continue giving guidance on the issues that affect or will help in the group's strategic growth. So in terms of the strategic plan, that is the work of the board. In terms of the policy development, implementation, and also operationalization of that particular policy will be the work of the management. That therefore tells us that we need people that have those skills and have been equipped with those skills that will help the group move that particular level. That is why we are looking for members of the board who have been given that particular skill. And that is where we are saying a minimum of a degree will assure us that we have that kind of skills that we are looking at so that we can professionalize and take the group to a higher level. So that is the reason why we are looking for degrees. So in terms of the process of getting the board members, we started that last year. And early this year, we communicated to the members to apply to get the board membership. And so far, what we've done with the management, with the support of our patron, is that we've looked at those who have applied. We've done some short listing. We were hoping by today we'll have a board in place which will come and present. Unfortunately, we didn't get many of the applications as we expected, because we are looking at different areas. Number one, we are looking at balancing the skills. Number two, we are looking at the regional balance so that we don't have people coming from the same area and being in the board. Number three, we are looking at the gender compliance in terms of the 2-3 gender rule. So unfortunately, majority of those who applied were men. So we have agreed with the management that we give it a little bit more time for us to be able to get more applications, and especially from the female gender, so that we can also be compliant with our constitution. So the application channels are still open, and the communication to that effect will be done by our management. We may give you a week or so that then we sit down, we see how many then we have applied, And once we do a shortlisting under the powers given to us by you and by the regulator, who is the SPRT, Social Promotion Registered Trustee, then we'll be able to communicate those who will be considered after vetting. The process is that once we do the shortlisting, then we'll call those who have applied for an interview, and we'll do a vetting in compliance with our current policies. And then after that, we'll subject them to the SPRT, or the Social Promotion Registered Trustee, for further vetting. And then after that, then we can communicate to you on who have been decided upon. And then after that, appointments will be given to them. Then when we'll be able to come and have a physical gathering, then we can be able to organize and present the board before you as our members. Because we know at the end of the day, you still need your ratification for us to be fully in office with the approval of every other member. But again, because of the challenges that we are having now, we will still ask that once the process is done, you allow us to communicate the members of the board, and then you allow us to continue with the process until that time when we'll be able to meet and present them to you when they are already working. We would not want to stop anything along the way. We want them to start their work so that you start also seeing the fruits of that particular level of growth and the goodness that comes with that. So for today, we may not have an election because of what I just said. And once we are able to get people to apply, once we are able to, because again, you are looking at what we have from within the current members of management, and we've gotten all those who are not retiring to be part of that team that will be vetted. So there's no one who will be not considered unless if they are retired. But again, today we have a number of them who are supposed to retire. So it is good for me to help the members understand them, but also say that even if they will retire today, you will still be seeing them in the office working until when we are able to transition. So that retirement will be for the purpose of, they will retire, but they will continue helping us to do the transition and also to do the handover when we get the new board. So today, those who are supposed to retire, we have those who are retiring having served 6 years, which is required as per our policies. We are supposed to serve 2 terms. 1 term is of 3 years. Then members renew that particular term if your services have been good to them. And then a member serves for another term of another 3 years. That comes 6 years. Then they retire and we get a new board members or new management members in place. So today we have those who have served for the full term of 6 years. And we have, I think, one who has volunteered to retire because of the challenges of his individual work. So we appreciate the efforts that every one of them have put in place. We appreciate the effort that the management of the day have taken our group from the time when they started. And I know that time the group was quite small, to a level that they have taken the group to another level. They have taken the group to the top 3. Actually, if you look at the statistics, in terms of the savings, we are number 2 in Umoja. So it is quite a commendable effort that they have put in place to ensure that the group gets that level. So we really appreciate them. I always say we may never be able to pay them for the efforts that they have put in place. But again, we ask God to continue rewarding them, continue seeing and meeting them at their points of needs, and continue showing them that that which they gave to the community was not in vain. So we really thank them. And we have our own charity, who is one of them. She is retiring today. I remember, if you remember last year, we added 1 year for her to help in that transition process. She has been of very great help, and you'll still be seeing her around doing a number of things in helping our members of management who is coming to settle, and even also our staff members to be able to settle and be able to work as expected. Then we have Ruth. Ruth is here. She's also retiring, having served for a period of 6 years, and we really appreciate the work that she has done. She brought her professional background to the group, and she has really done a very commendable job. Then we have Catherine. Catherine Budia is also retiring, having checked us for 6 years, having been very independent in ensuring that the management are really taking care of the resources. She's one of those people I know who call white and black. So thank you so much for that particular effort, and we really appreciate you for that good work. Then we have Michael Kibai. Michael has given us service for 5 years now. Yes, 5 years. But again, like I said, in the COVID-19 period, at times we are required to adjust here and there, and in his adjustment, he is doing a lot of movements here and there, so that he can be able to get something also to take care of him and his family. So he has seen it good that he retired for retirement, so that because he realized he will not be able to give quite enough time to the group. So we really appreciate Michael. He has been of great help. All the communications we've been seeing, most of the ICT work, he's the one who has been doing that. So I don't know, members, you need to help us get people who will fit into some of their shoes so that we continue serving normally the way we have been serving. So I think that is it for the election. I don't know if no. So thank you so much. That is it for the update. We will keep communicating in various means and ways as we continue looking into ensuring that any governance gap that we have is taken care of. So thank you so much, members. We ask for your understanding as we continue. We ask for your support, and we also ask for your cooperation. We need you people to apply. We need you to come and lead these resources. Take us to that particular next level. So when a communication comes on that reminder of applying to become a board member, please ensure you apply. And I encourage my sisters, the ladies, please apply and become members of this particular board. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Eric, for your input. I'd just like to bring to your attention that the online members are around 320, also that number. And we are grateful that you took time and the opportunity to participate in this virtual AGM. We have come to the AOB section. AOB. So we don't have any AOB. So we'd like to call upon our patron once again. Yeah, and as we close our 24th annual general meeting, virtual annual general meeting, we want just to report that the AGM reports and the communications are on our website. They are on our website. And for those who have shared their mail, they will get also the financial statements in their mail. So I would like to take this opportunity once again to welcome our patron, Father Bernard, to give us the final blessings for us here and for those who are virtually, so that we can close our 24th annual general meeting. Let us stand.
Let us call our names. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Amen.
Glory be to the Father, and to the Son, and to the Holy Spirit.
As it was in the beginning, is now, and ever shall be.
Mighty and ever living God, thank you for this opportunity which you've given us, an opportunity we have listened to what you've heard. We say thank you for the greater glory of your name. We pray all this through Christ our Lord. Amen. The Lord be with you. The Almighty God bless you, the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit.
Amen.
Thank you very much. May you be blessed.
Thank you so much. And for hearing.